Hello, everybody. Welcome back. YouTube.com/GeekLoud. It's not a Tuesday at 8 p.m. It is, in fact, Monday night at 8 p.m. So, of course, I've got Unkie on Discord. Steve, how you doing, my friend?
Mate, I'm very well. You know what they say? It's Tuesday somewhere in the world. We're just earlier this time.
Sure is. Hey, nothing like being early. And, of course, also joining us on Discord is Bully. Bully, my friend, how are you?
I'm fantastic, lads. How are you?
Very well, thanks. And obviously, viewers, if you notice on screen, Bully has joined us visually speaking. It goes Unkie in the second slot and then Bully taking up that bottom slot. Now, I need to tell you guys about the run of show. First up will be games, Interrogation and Deliberation. The games Bully, Unkie and myself have been playing over the past week. We'll talk about those. Then we'll bang off over into the news studio. We'll cover up the news stories from the last week or so. And then, of course, it is the Standoff, everyone's favourite. Unkie, what have you got for us this evening in the Standoff, mate?
Mate, it's a bit of a different one tonight. We're looking at the biggest cliches in games. So we've got a few here on the list, and sound off in the chat if you think you know what the biggest cliche is going to be. But there's quite a few on here. It'd be interesting to see where we land at the end of it.
My bet is the term biome. All right.
It's not even in there.
Steve, it's the illusion that I don't know what's coming, mate. Right. And then finally, of course, on the show is Audience Interrogation. That's where you guys can be chatting to us all day. Night, evening show, you know what I'm saying. In that YouTube chat, we come to you guys at the end, round up the comments, discuss whatever you like. That'll be at the end of it. So let's start. Games, Interrogation and Deliberation. First up this evening is Plague Tale. Over to you, Bully.
A bit late on this one, I think. Came out a couple of years ago, and despite the fact that it's been sitting on Game Pass for a while, in my download list, finally got to it, and cannot believe that I had passed up this one for so long. It is amazing, is the short way to say it. The atmosphere that they've got, the setting in 1300s France, you feel like you're in, when you start walking through some of the towns, you feel like you would have been in that time frame. The music that comes with it, the superlatives that I've got for this game. I know most people have probably played through it and all the rest of it, but the description I've got for this game is nothing short of amazing, and just cannot believe that I put it back for so long.
Bully, mate, I have never seen a frame of this game until today when I was grabbing the footage that you're seeing on the screen now. So, mate, for me, for beginners, can you tell me what genre is it and what it's similar to that I may have played?
Well, that's the thing. It's probably not similar to a lot of things. It's a bit of a mixture of stealth. There's a bit of third-person action in there. There's some light puzzle-solving type things. I reckon probably the best way to describe it, and this might not be a fair, accurate account of what it actually is, but if you were to take the Uncharted series back 600 years and put it in that setting and add a lot more stealth to it, is probably where you're at.
Okay.
A bit of a Last of Us, I reckon.
Could it be
and a little bit of Last of Us? A
little maybe Assassin's Creed-y?
No, I didn't get those vibes at all. Even the setting and stuff like that, it was a lot more contained. It's not open world.
Okay. There's my first misunderstanding.
It's almost a throwback to the level design and the level setting of the original Splinter Cell games, which I know you're a
wow.
fan of, so
I am a huge fan. Now you're talking.
Just take that same sort of gameplay. There's other elements to it as well, but there's that similar sort of stealth gameplay. Okay. And you throw it back into that setting in medieval France, and that's what you get.
Now, I've got a bone to pick with France. We don't need to go into it now, but that's not doing it any favours. My question, looking at this footage as I was capturing it today, they kept saying the siblings. Are we to understand that is a brother and sister running around hand in hand all the time? Is that correct?
Yeah, so that's the older sister and the younger brother. It's probably not too much of a spoiler story. It all happens within the first chapter or two. But they come from French royalty, and something happens fairly early on where they're basically off on their own trying to find some answers to what's going on, and the younger sibling there, the brother, is actually it's all based around the Black Plague. So rats is the main theme of it. He's obviously got some sort of infection, but he's also got some element of being able to help. So you've got to work through all that with the story. I don't want to spoil it too much. Really good story as well. It's not just the setting.
And I'm seeing her move some crates around. That's the Uncharted vibes, like 3D environmental puzzles, I take it?
Yeah, there's not a lot of it, but there's little bits here and there that it just sort of breaks it up a little bit. So you've got elements with little bits of that. You've got where the rats come into play and the puzzle element with that. You've got different ways that you can get the rats out of your way. So essentially they can't come near light. So sometimes you'll have a lantern that you can use or a torch. There'll be other times that you can light things on fire and stuff like that.
A weapon wheel, Steve.
Well,
yes.
To some degree, but you've got a finite amount of resources. So there's certain times you won't have things that you need or think that you need. So you've got to sort of work your way around how to get through the rats.
Okay, and my other question is now another trope I don't think's on the list. Is this whole game an escort quest? Because I hate escort quests. Is that little boy annoying, or is he more like, I'm blanking on her name, Ellie from The Last of Us?
Very much like Ellie.
Cool.
I have to say, in the first hour or so, and it took a little bit of time to get into it. Mm-hmm. So if anybody's played the first 20 minutes, half an hour, push through to about an hour, and then it opens up and it gets a lot better. And I thought that same thing that first hour was, oh no, don't tell me this is a 15-hour-long escort mission.
Yeah.
But all the elements of a normal escort mission, they've somehow managed to work it out. So he's basically by your side for the vast majority of the game, but it doesn't. You never get to that point of going, oh my God, what are you doing? Stop running around, please.
Yeah, right.
You can almost think of him like Atreus from God of War, where like you can use his abilities and stuff like that at certain times, but
okay.
Yeah, you're not tied to him per se. Like they do it really well. They balance out that gameplay really well. And I'll back Bully 100% and just back this game in that it is one of the better game experiences I've had that I didn't expect to have from a more indie developer. Like the polish on this game, like it looks beautiful, it plays beautiful, the story's great, the gameplay is great. I was gripped from start to finish in this game, and I'm just happy for Bully that he's going to get to play the sequel for this way sooner than I will in terms of the gap between playing their first game, because it's not that far off.
So did you play it at launch, Unkie Dunkie?
Yeah, I played it at launch. I was the whale I was. It took me out a whale noise, so we'll start off early. But no, I played this game really early, and I'm almost tempted to go back and play it again. Because
that was my next question.
Yeah, no, it's such a great experience. So I would happily play this again. I remember fighting the last boss. I don't know, Bully, you finished it, yeah?
Yep.
How many tries was that last boss for you?
I think 3 or 4, and then I sort of worked out what was going on. The issue that I had to start with was you're doing the first part of it, and then there's the bit where you can attack him, and I was just standing there going, well, what am I doing now?
Yes.
I couldn't work out how to actually attack him.
I was the same.
So I got to that point, because I think the way that you're supposed to do it, I was doing it, and it just wasn't hitting for some reason. So I thought, what am I doing wrong here? But it took a little bit of time, and then I worked my way around it.
Yeah, no, visually great boss fight. It just took a little while to sort of get your head around what you needed to do. But no, what a great game. I'm glad you finally come to your senses and played this one. And it's on Game Pass, so no one's got any excuse not to play it.
Well, I tell you, it's just lifted to the top of my list. Now, do we know the upcoming sequel? Does it follow on like immediately after, or are we switching characters but keeping in the... What do we know about the sequel and how it ties into the first one?
As far as I know, it's mere months after the first one finishes is where this one leaves off. Like, looking at the trailer, the kid's he looks a lot older in some of the stuff and younger in some, so whether it starts off and then they do a time jump, I don't know, but it's in the near future from after this one, so it hasn't jumped a whole lot from my understanding.
Is it possible that they've done an Ellie in the Last of Us upcoming remake where they've just aged her up 5 years for no reason?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, looking from what I've seen, like this actual one the new one does seem to take like leaps out of Last of Us book when it comes to the stealth and stuff, and I'll be intrigued to see how they ramp up the combat and stuff, because looking at the gameplay, it looks like it might be a little bit faster paced when it comes to some of the abilities she's got, and she's obviously more experienced now as a hunter and whatever she's doing and using that slingshot, whatever she's got, which is quite brutal to use. Bully will probably speak to it. The combat actually does feel quite fun to use, given the limited nature of what you've actually got to use.
Yeah, well, that's your main sort of, I suppose, to harken back to Splinter Cell. That's like your silence pistol is the slingshot, and it packs a wallop. I will say that one shot to the head, and it flicks them on their backside and basically KOs them. You're good to go.
And from memory, Bully, it's got some pretty decent skill trees as well, like just some minor progression throughout the game as well, so you can increase some of those abilities. Is my memory failing me, or is that correct?
It's more, you sort of unlock more different, not so much abilities, but different, I suppose it is, it's a skill. Well, going back to that weapon wheel again, you unlock more of the weapon wheel to be able to
That's right.
sort of work your way. So the longer you go into it, the more options you've got to tackle the enemies and the puzzles and stuff. But you do, for the most part, once you get to a certain point and you've unlocked most of that weapon wheel, you pretty much need to use each of those as you work through each particular sort of action set piece or setup, that you have to use each one of those as you're going through it. Otherwise, you won't make your way through it. You've got to use each one of those. And
it's very clever the way it does it. Like, it doesn't just throw us at you and you go, oh my God, don't know what to do. You sort of usually know what you need to do. It's a matter of trying to figure out the puzzle within that level to try and get yourself through it. Like, it's just really great game design, I think. Like, it makes you think you're smart, but it doesn't get you stuck for too long. Like, it still gives you that aha moment, like, oh yeah, I'm smart enough that I figured it out, but you're never stuck too long to figure it out. I think they find that really good balance between those two.
A good amount of play testing, I'd suggest. My final question, boys, is she the DNA sample for the, I'm blanking on her name, but from Horizon Forbidden West? The character models are very similar to
Aloy?
Yes, Aloy, thank you. That's what I was blanking on.
It does look very similar, but I'd go as far as to say I actually like this character more than I like the character of Aloy.
Fair enough. So I have no more questions. Unkie, Bully, any final thoughts on this one?
Just play this game. That's from me.
I wholeheartedly agree. If anybody's sat on it, it's on Game Pass. It's free. Download it. Play it now. It's about a 15-hour-old experience. You'll work your way through it pretty quickly, and amazing game.
Fantastic. Keep your eye on the channel this week, guys. I'll be doing the Let's Install shortly. All right, Game 2 this week is over to you, Unkie for Cuphead's DLC.
Yeah, speaking of great games that I never really got into back in the day, mainly due to their difficulty, Cuphead. I adored this game mainly for its art style and stuff back in the day, and we all know that I do enjoy hard games, and we do like, we've got our Elden Rings and Sifus and all that. And Cuphead was one of those ones that I enjoyed the difficulty, but it was one of those ones I did give up on and didn't feel the need to sort of go through it further, because it is kind of a boss rush game where essentially every level you're playing is a boss fight. So, I mean, if you don't like banging your head against the wall and figuring out boss patterns and stuff, that is all this game is. It is beautiful. It is beautiful while it does it. The art style is great. It's all hand drawn. Like, there's no wonder this game took forever to come out, and the DLC took even longer to come out. It seems, for its 8 bosses they've added.
Was it 2 years?
They've added, yeah, might have been a bit longer, I think, from when the first game came out.
Fair enough. Sorry, mate.
It's been a very long time, but the animation they've gone to with some of these new bosses is absolutely insane. I just saw on screen the guy that's currently kicking my ass at the moment, which I got so close to beating before we went live tonight. But I did beat 3 other bosses before going on live tonight, and I've been very impressed with my Cuphead ability at the moment, mainly due to the fact they have finally added a weapon, guys, that makes this game way more accessible to everyone.
So I should look into it?
Potentially. So I don't know if have you guys played Cuphead before?
I tried and never even got to the boss at the end of the first level. I don't even think I got halfway through the first level and gave up.
Yeah, Bully?
I've done the first couple of sort of zones, so up to about the 3rd zone, I think. I've done it probably 3 or 4 times. Gone back to the start, work your way through it. I love it. Love the art style. Love it. It's just, as you said, immensely frustrating.
That's it. So if I could tell you that all of a sudden all you really had to do was worry about what was in the level as opposed to trying to shoot the boss, would that gauge your interest a little bit more in terms of trying to beat these guys?
Oh, 100%.
Well, let me tell you, one of the first abilities you get to unlock in this with your new Cuphead, what's her name, Chalice, that you can see on screen now. She's the new character. You can unlock the ability, and then you can use it with all the characters. That's called the crack shot. All you have to do is hold down the shoot button, which I've now mapped to right trigger, so I can just hold it down, and that will essentially just like home in on the boss and any sort of enemy within the level. So you can hold that down, and all you really have to do is watch the screen and worry about dodging out of the way, ducking, jumping, and moving over obstacles, and you will eventually get that kill. So it takes out some of that frustration of needing to do that, plus having to always have your shots hitting the enemy. And for whatever reason, that's finally clicked with me, and I have just raced through bosses this week. I reckon I've beaten maybe 12 bosses all up, including maybe 5 or 6 from the DLC, and then maybe that same amount in the main game. So I've worked my way. I'm almost up to the final boss of the main game, and I reckon I've got 2 more bosses in the DLC now. And I thought there was no way in hell I was getting that close to beating these bosses. So this weapon's just sort of made this game, yeah, you might see it as easy mode, but I mean, it's not. You can chuck these levels on regular or easy mode, essentially. The easy mode won't give you the ability to finish the game. It just lets you get a slightly easier version of the boss. So I've just started playing everything on regular. And yeah, I've found myself, I've been stuck on a few bosses. Some of them get really hard, but I've been really finding the fun in sort of learning some of these bosses' sort of moves and their patterns. And then because they're not the same every level, they're kind of some of these boss fights, you might see them as they're exactly the same. You just got to remember that one set of moves. But no, they'll change things up and they'll throw different patterns at you in different ways. But once you sort of learn those patterns, it can be really, really like exciting and fun just to get through those bosses. And there's a real sense of achievement once you actually do it, even using the crackshot weapon. But I implore you, if you haven't played Cuphead, or even the DLC, which is I think only about $11, and $11 gets you so much content. It's so beautiful. Support the developer. This game is incredible.
Sorry, mate, you may have said it already. I had a slight technical issue I had to deal with. But do you have to complete the main mission, like the main game, to get to the DLC, or is it like a main menu, pick main game or DLC?
So from my understanding, I think you just have to have finished or gotten towards the end of the first island, because there's a guy that appears on a boat, and then you can just go to him and then travel straight to Island 4, regardless of whether you've done Islands 2 or 3 as well.
So you can go straight to... Sorry, mate, go. Sorry.
No, it's all right. No, you go.
I was just going to ask, so is it more like the Forza Horizon, how you get the mark on the map to go over to their DLC island and then they just load it up and you're off?
Essentially, yeah, and then you play the DLC there. But for mine, the DLC bosses that I've played so far are much tougher than the core game. So I'll go back to the core game with this new crackshot ability and just destroying guys. Like, there's bosses that I thought there's no way I would ever beat, and I've been beating them, and it's been very satisfying because I'm like, hey, I'm finally beating Cuphead, the game that's always sort of kicked my teeth in. And I've beaten Elden Ring and Sifu multiple times and Dark Souls and Bloodborne, but for some reason this cute little cartoon game was kicking my teeth in. So it's sort of been very cathartic this week going back and actually kicking some of these guys' teeth in, because it's a lot of fun and I really do enjoy seeing. And like, I don't look up any sort of ways to beat bosses in these games. Like, a lot of times, even with Elden Ring, you might look up best way to try and beat a boss. But the fun in these boss fights is actually sort of figuring out yourself, and then the surprise of what their next phase might be and what animation you're going to see, because they're just so creative with what they do. You just never know what's coming next. So, and most bosses will have 3 to 4 phases. Sometimes it can be frustrating because you think you're sort of towards the end of the phase and you're like, oh my God, this guy's got another phase and I'm almost dead. Like, it can be frustrating, but it's just so much fun now. And I just, as I said, if you've sort of slept on Cuphead or thought it was too hard, maybe jump back in with this DLC and grab that new crackshot ability, because it definitely opened up the game for me, and I think it will for a lot of people as well.
That's awesome, man. I don't have any questions. It's not my sort of wheelhouse, really. But Bully, did you have any thoughts, mate?
No, I think pretty well described. I reckon it's I don't know if it's enough to grab me back into it with that new ability, but I agree with you. That was probably one of the things that you struggle with, is trying to dodge everything that's on the screen at the same time as you're trying to go, oh yeah, I also have to try and shoot this boss, otherwise I'm going to be here forever.
Exactly. And that was literally where I stopped. And I have not used any other ability other than this crackshot ability since I started playing this game. So, and I don't feel the need to. Like, I feel like it's just almost unfair with the amount of stuff you're supposed to do on screen at any given time. Troy probably stands no chance with the platform that's involved sometimes as it is. So, Troy, maybe don't give it a try. But yeah, anyone else out there, isn't a platformer? Have a crack.
I love it. Now, guys, we have to do a minor active reload here, so stand by. We will be right All right, guys, welcome back. Guess what? Tennis. I love it. All right, get your bat, get your tennis rackets, and I'm telling you what, get into Matchpoint Tennis Champions. Now, as you see on the footage here, I'm the guy up the front. I was trying to go for our colours on top and the YouTube red on the shorts, so that's me at the front there. Now, the intro, I don't need that anymore. The intro, it really baffled me for a bit, but they've got a fantastic training/tutorial section. And once you go through the sort of basics there, you know, maybe spend 15, 20 minutes learning the basics of how it goes. But once you get it, once you understand it, once you get in the match, absolutely phenomenal. Take a look at this as it's rolling now. You cannot, in my opinion, my professional opinion, you can't tell the difference on that shot whether you're looking at a real game or a tennis simulation. I think they have absolutely nailed this shot on this presentation. Granted, when you cut in, you do the replays and you look around and you see like that shot there, the avatar's like, okay, then it's clear you're looking at a video game. But I give them absolute props for nailing that wide shot that, you know, tennis has mainly takes place on, excuse me. Second thing I want to say, they've nailed the control mechanisms. It's not since, did you guys get into, on the original NES, the game just called Tennis by any chance?
No, my first tennis experience was probably topspin tennis, which was awesome as well.
Well, oh gosh, correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, actually, let me just ask you, mate, what was the control, like the specific control inputs for the shots? Because I remember really struggling with it. So can you just explain briefly how you input what you wanted the character to do?
For this game or for topspin?
No, for topspin, mate, for topspin.
Oh, I can't remember topspin. That was the first tennis game I played. I've been playing did play a lot of the Australian Open game that came out, I think it was last year, and I really enjoyed that tennis game, and I'll save my thoughts about that compared to this for a sec, but from memory, topspin, I believe, I don't even know, well, I think it was just, I think they've been similar for a lot of tennis games where A was your flat shot, X is your cut shot, B's topspin, and Y's always been lob. But that just could be me misremembering it because I've played a lot of Australian Open tennis, and that's what they do as well.
Fair enough, man. Now, the one thing I want added to this game is as you're moving, oh, God, I can't even remember now. It's right stick, isn't it? Right stick for the shot placement where you want it to land on the court. The one thing I'd say to the developers is just give us a slight rumble in the controller if we're going to hit the shot out. So you can line it up where you want. But if you just, if you're nudging the ball just outside, it'd be nice if the controller just gave you just a hint of feedback. You've gone too far left, right, or, back forward like you're outside. I think that would be fantastic. But the other big props I want to give this game for, I haven't gotten this excited while playing a game in a while. Like, I am up off the couch. I'm playing the whole match standing up in front of my tally, and I'm moving my feet around. I'm getting into position. I carry on a fair bit normally, and this game lights up some part of my brain, and I cannot get enough of this game. And I think if it was still lockdown times, I got to say this one would do for my exercise. I was using Beat Saber during the lockdown for my exercise, but this would have been the one for me. I would have been all about this, just playing tennis for my fitness. And I've gone on long enough. Unkie, have you gone hands-on, mate? And what were your thoughts?
I have. I initially went hands-on just on the xCloud because I was like, there's no point really downloading it. I'll just chuck it on that because, we'll see how we go. And I enjoyed it enough to install it. And I realised installing it wasn't that big a deal because it's only a 4 gig install.
Yeah.
So she's a small game because there's not a whole lot there really. Like compared to the Australian Open game, which has a really good championship mode and career mode and stuff, this is pretty light on. And in terms of actual tennis players you can play as, there's not a lot there either. Compared to AO. So it does come across as a slight bit of a budget title, and I don't know. I think thank God it is on Game Pass because I don't know if I'd pay the $70 for it. I think it's valued at to buy. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun with it. I do enjoy the way you sort of position your shots is a little bit different to AO, and I do enjoy that sort of manual input of where you get to hit your shot.
Yes, that's the linchpin for me in how this game hooked me.
Yeah, it does. It does give you a lot of agency over sort of where you play your shot, but it can be a bit finicky sometimes where you want to play a shot. And when things are going down, you want to try and hold that button for a bit longer to sort of play the powerful shot. And you feel like sometimes you don't even have the time to even hit that button longer than just a tap.
Yep.
But no, it is very smooth, and as you said, the presentation is second to none. My son even thought it was an actual tennis game when he was sitting at the dinner table the other night, so it does look quite real. But that being said, I've spoken about AO, but AO Tennis does also have that same presentation. It does look very real as well. So for mine, AO is probably the better tennis game, but this I think is a really good, more of an arcadey fun experience than AA is more simulation. So if you're really, especially with Game Pass, there's no reason to not pick this up and have a crack at it.
Yeah,
it doesn't have the best character creator going around. We've talked about character creators a lot on this channel, and the good ones. This definitely isn't that. I've got a pale guy with freckles, which is essentially the closest I can get to myself. Couldn't add any muscle tone, which was not ideal. But I got him looking as most like me as I could. He's definitely called me. They don't call you by name, and you can't send any of that stuff up like your 2K games and stuff like that. But no, definitely a solid little tennis game, especially for Game Pass.
I love it. Sorry, just I don't know if you've seen here on my footage at all, mate, but I worked out the hack, and it changes per opponent where their weaknesses are and stuff. But the hack for this guy, if you're ever playing against him, is instead of doing a proper serve, you do that little lob serve, and it gives you enough time to rush the net and then just smack him around.
Serve volley it.
Yeah. Anyway, so I love that. And then, sorry, the only other one thing I wanted to say that I think the developers should change is, and I understand the game is called Matchpoint, but it freaks me out every time there's a replay that up on the screen in big letters says Matchpoint. I'm like, it's not Matchpoint, it's 15 all. What are we doing? Every single time the Matchpoint flashes up, it gets me. So if they could change that to maybe just their logo or MP or something, just stop using the phrase Matchpoint between normal points. It freaks me out. But other than that,
funny to say, I remember playing my first game, and it was, I think, if you play the career first game, they literally have you right at the end of a game. So I thought maybe that was their gimmick. That it's called Match Point. So every time you're playing a match, you're literally just playing for Match Point. But then obviously you finish that game, and then you go and play a full game. And I thought, is this their gimmick? That's why the game's called Match Point. I had this light bulb moment that clearly wasn't actually a light bulb moment at all. It's just me thinking it was something it wasn't.
I love it, mate. That's it from me. But how about you, Bully? We haven't heard you sound off, mate. How do you feel about tennis games, and have you checked this one out on Game Pass?
Well, I have to agree with you. The graphics do look fairly lifelike up on the big screen. Mind you, I couldn't tell the difference because it's just the back of my eyelids when I'm watching it.
So I take it you're not going hands-on with it?
Well, no, I won't be going hands on it. Although I do have a question. Does the tutorial have any tips or tricks to make tennis actually fun?
Zing! Bully's out firing. In my defense, sorry, mate, go.
I can watch, enjoy, play just about any sport in the world. For some reason, tennis just does not get me in any way, shape or form. Even with the excitement of Nick Kyrgios throwing rackets around and abusing umpires,
that's
get me into it.
No, well, I would understand. I'd turn off if that was carry on was happening. That doesn't suit me at all. In sort of my histories, I grew up playing tennis, mate. So I am a tennis fan from back when I was a kid, played it for many, many, many years. So this game just absolutely lit me up. I'm over the moon with it. If you've got Game Pass and you've ever picked up a racket, I say go hands-on with this game. It's worth it. It may just sink its teeth in you the way it's hooked me, line and sinker. Unkie, any final thoughts, mate?
No, mate, as you said, there's no excuse if you've got an Xbox Game Pass to not get this game. Just give it a go. As I said, it's 4 gig download or through the cloud. Just pick it up. If you like tennis, you'll have some fun.
Yes, and I would say that through the cloud, the latency was enough to get me. So I would recommend playing it from the console because I think the latency through xCloud, as minute as it is just enough to make you think they haven't nailed the control scheme. But when you install it locally and play it, you're like, oh, they've absolutely nailed this control scheme. It's perfect.
I agree. That's why one of the partial things of getting on the download and play on the big screen was mainly for me for that presentation. I did want to see it on the big screen and see it look like that TV presentation. It definitely does add a fair bit to the gameplay experience. So.
It sure does. All right, from the high point of my week being Matchpoint tennis, I'm going to hand it off to Bully now for Game 4, mate. You checked out Balan Wonderland, as I understand it.
Oh, where do I begin with this? I think the first game was why did I sleep on this one for so long? Why did I even pick this up?
This is the one you wish you'd kept sleeping, yeah?
This is the one I wish I'd kept sleeping on. I think I picked it up on sale for about $8. I picked it up as a joke because I thought, how could it be that bad? How could it be that bad? And lo and behold, it's come to the new PS Plus. I thought, oh, well, it's sitting there, I'll download it, have a look. Wasted my time downloading it, wasted my time playing the first couple of levels, and I'll be brutally honest at this point, I'd rather be playing tennis.
Fantastic. I love it. Now, Unkie, have you checked out the old Balan Wonderland, mate?
I haven't because even though it's free, I saw that it was a 25 gig download, and after Bully's glowing reception of it during the week, there was no way I was deleting anything on my console for this thing to go on there. Not a chance in hell. I had some kind of morbid curiosity with it because I'm like, it can't be that bad, or I want to see how bad it actually is. But I was like, nah, it is not worth it for me. So I didn't get hands on. Troy, what about you?
I went hands-on. Oh, Steve, tell us something interesting for about 3 seconds, mate. I'll be right back.
Something interesting is
I'm back. Here it is. I picked it up from JB Hi-Fi for $10 on disc. Now, my thinking was the old girl mightn't be... check it out. I've even got the receipt still in there, and there's the disc. I thought at $10, this is going to be a legend in gaming for the rest of my life. So I love picking up video game, what's the word I'm looking for? Artifacts. That's the one. To me, having this physical copy is as good as having Cyberpunk 2077, the PS4, the original printing version 1.0 on the disc. I absolutely love having this sort of stuff. And now, Steve, my argument to you, sir, why I think you should download this and play it, you will never in your life come across a game like this. This is a unique 1 in a million game. This will be a reference point for gaming. I would argue for the next 50 years, people are going to be comparing some elements of some games back to Balan Wonderland. So I think you owe it to yourself as a gamer, as a gaming historian, as you'll be in the future, mate. You have to go hands-on with this game, even if you just give it the first 2 levels and see what it's like, understand that control scheme, mate. I would almost say to call yourself a real gamer, you've got to have at least put in half an hour into Balan Wonderland. Bully, what do you reckon, mate?
What control scheme? There's one button.
Yeah, but until you've held it, mate. Well, actually, hold on. What about L1, R1 for switching your costumes? As you can see in the top left there of the UI, you can switch between costume types. So there's 3 buttons, mate.
I just want to know what other games are going to be comparing to this game. What things are we comparing?
But I think if you bring up, Mario 64, for example, like, you could make a comparison. It wouldn't be a very favourable one, but you can use this as a reference point to highlight how good Mario 64 is. But if you haven't gone hands-on with this, that argument will fall flat. I think everybody who considers themselves a gamer should play this, especially if you've got a PlayStation. As we said, it's in PlayStation Plus, so you can go hands-on this for no cost other than, of course, what did you say, Steve? I think 25 gigs, was it, download?
Yeah, about that. Now, does it have any redeeming features? Is there any fun to be had at all?
I enjoyed my time with it. We all know I'm a bloody terrible platformer. So for me, this was a bit of a breath of fresh air. There's zero penalty for playing poorly. It's just, here you go, mate. We'll put you back to the closest bit where you were and have at it again. So there's no penalties for being bad at platforming. So that suits me pretty well. And then if we can go on long enough here, you'll see at the end, there's actually an idle. Do you ever play the idle clicker games on mobile phones by any chance? Like your Egg Inc., that sort of thing?
Nah.
Well, if this footage, I'm so hoping it cuts soon to the what do you call it, the overworld map. Bully, do you know what I'm talking about? I can't remember the name of it. It's the Tim trampoline maybe in the middle, and you've got the little the critters that jump on the circle thing. Bully, can you help me out? What am I trying to say there?
You said make a comparison. Well, you would compare it to Mario 64. Okay, compare it to a flaming bag of trash, and that's being unfair to the flaming bag of trash.
What if? Go, Steve.
Hey, Bully, does this get an infringement notice?
I think we're going to have to give it 2 points for wasting my time with the download, with the loading it up, with some impetus that this may not be as bad as what I've heard it is. At the end of the day, it is white hot trash, and anybody that wants to put it on their system, do so at your own peril, because you've been warned, it's rubbish.
Yes.
And there is no redeeming features. I will not hear of any. I will not hear of it as a comparison. In fact, I'm going to go and buy. I'm going to go and I'm a collector of the physical media.
Are you interested in buying my copy?
Snap that disc in half.
Hey, Bully, I dare you to do it on air right now. I want to hear that disc crack on air.
I love it. So, Steve, tell me, mate, is my argument compelling enough? Do you think you owe it to yourself to at least have played it once, just so you've gone hands-on?
I reckon Bully might win this one.
No!
I reckon I've seen enough just watching the footage and knowing how it's going to control. There's no way you can get me to uninstall something to put a 25. This thing, I don't even know how this thing's worth 25 gig. That tennis game looks better. This is 4 gig. What 25 gig in this game? I don't get it.
Now, can I ask one thing? Because if it had a decent story, maybe you could push through the rubbish gameplay.
Is there a story?
That's what I was going to ask. Can you explain it to me?
No, I got
random kids that seem to be in some mirror world, and all of a sudden you're dumped in in the middle of the first level, and with some weirdo who's flapping around everywhere.
I have absolutely no idea what's going on, narratively speaking, in this game, mate. To me, it's just a pick up and play platformer. And
can anyone tell me what a Balan is? What's a Balan?
The dude with the hat. I don't know if you've seen him. I'm not sure if he's even in this footage I've captured, but the iconic look right here on the front cover, if you can see old mate here with the big white hat, kind of reminds me of, Mario Odyssey? You know, the Cappy? Kind of it's like a top hat Cappy.
Can you stop comparing this game to Mario, one of the best platforming games ever?
Oh, okay, wait. How about this then?
Platforming. You want to talk about platforming segments? Wait till you get. See, you've got to play it just to experience the rubbishness.
That's what I'm saying, Bully. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Thank you.
You pick up this thing, and then all of a sudden, you're flying beside this Balan character, and then a shadow comes up against it. You push a button, and then he attacks some random orb thing, and repeat 6 times. Orb thing dies. Level finished.
And the other good one here, it's way deeper in the footage. We're not going to get to it. But I have no idea why. But in World 1.2, I think there's a little bit of it in World 1.1. But in World 1.2, for some unknown reason, the whole world lifts up around you, like you're always running sort of uphill, but as you run towards it, it rolls out. It's kind of like you're inside a ball and you're running around the level inside a ball. It's one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen in gaming. I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying it's unique and worth experiencing because it's so left of center. It's crazy.
You've just...
my interest is peaked, but not enough to play it.
You've almost convinced me that you should play it. You've almost convinced me that people should play it, just for the sheer absurdity of it.
Exactly. That's exactly my point. And Steve, I know you're upset about the comparisons to Mario, so let me tell you this. I also got a little bit of Link's Awakening vibes. Just a little.
Oh, no.
What about this then? When you're running around level 1.2, Bully, and you know, like the ground's coming up in front of you, you know the effect I'm talking about.
Vaguely.
Yeah. Tell me that.
Struck from his memory.
Tell me that's not like being in Halo and running up the inside of a Halo ring.
Oh,
well,
no,
to be
now
fair,
we're going Halo. Jesus.
To be fair, you know my thoughts on Halo, so it's probably not a good comparison.
Now, am I right in saying this is from the original developer of Sonic the Hedgehog?
Correct. And thank God this game in no way reminds me of the original Sonic game.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, maybe this will take a leaf out of Sonic's book and be better in other media. We'll see how we go.
I don't know if there's even a story here that the Halo TV writers could cobble together. It's all a bit...
such a good job.
Now, tell me, what was the main character's name other than Master Chief in that TV show? You can't, can you? That's how bad the writing was.
John. His name was John. 117.
No, I'm saying other than Master Chief, what was the other main character from the TV show? What was her name? My point exactly. All right, now moving on to Game 5, Unkie. Arcadegeddon.
Okay, again, I have spoken about this game previously in pre-release beta stage, where it's been out for a little while. It's just had its full release and available on PlayStation Plus. Now, this game has got a lot more fun to be had than Balan Wonderland. I've really enjoyed my time with this. I think I was right in saying that it's pretty much like Returnal cross Ratchet and Clank when it comes to its mechanics and gameplay. It's a roguelite game with loot boxes and stuff that you find during the game, and you get better weapons, and it's got some really good DualSense 5 or DualSense compatibility with the controller. It feels really cool to shoot things. I don't know. I've had a lot of fun with this game. I enjoy the Fortnite aesthetic of it. I know a lot of people are a bit over the Fortnite aesthetic, and I have to admit it does very much look like Fortnite. My missus thought I was playing Fortnite while I was playing it.
I would argue this game looks significantly better than Fortnite, but back to you, mate.
Yeah, it does have some really good like particle effects and it seems like it's got ray tracing at certain points and stuff as well. It's a very shiny game, and it's got some really cool cosmetic unlocks and stuff for my characters, and it was nice to see that all my progression from the early access stuff carried over, and all the stuff I unlocked during that is unlocked in this game as well once you sort of do the main tutorial part of the main game. And from what I've seen with the biomes that have been added now that are playing through it, there's been some really good biomes added, which have added a lot more variety to the areas you're playing in. There's been some all new weapons that have been added, which are really fun to fire, and there's a lot of good sound effects going on. I don't know, it's just a good one to just jump in and play and not really think too much. Like, obviously there's not much story there. You're working on sort of checklists from different NPCs, which admittedly are quite annoying when they talk to you. It's all very, 13-year-old, yelling at you kind of stuff. But I really just click through that, get my challenges to go in there and try and execute those things and upgrade my character and work towards better weapons, starting weapons and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. It's like a children's version of Returnal for me. And I don't know, something about the gameplay for me just speaks to me. And I really just enjoy that feedback of gameplay, sound and visuals. Just, I don't know. I really enjoy it.
I want to totally back you up, mate. In-world, gameplay-wise, it's got a great feel to it, great look. The DualSense 5 fires are beautiful. Just called the DualSense. I've got to stop doing that. The DualSense feedback, it's a thing of beauty. I love it. But to your point, mate, it's also right up there with Death Nag Loop. That overworld should be struck entirely from this game, and it would increase its score by 2. I hate the characters. I hate the overworld, but the actual gameplay when you're in it is fantastic. Bully, did you go hands-on, mate?
Oh, I did. I put probably an hour and a half into it. I think it's just another one of those, like as you said earlier, it's the Fortnite vibe or style that I think at this point I've probably just had enough of. It's another one of the games that it's one of those games that you just got to keep coming back to, in my opinion, and grinding out and getting those loot boxes and the skins and all that sort of stuff. And I'm a bit over this style of game, to be honest. This huge amount of time for something that's I get the gameplay and I can see some elements to it that are okay, but it's fairly generic across the board with other similar type games as far as I saw.
Yeah, admittedly, it is sort of like a hodgepodge of like everything else sort of mixed into one. It doesn't really have its own identity per se. Like I think maybe its identity is the whole dubsteppy type thing. You know, you got that music playing the whole time, which can grate on you a little bit after a while. But I don't know. I think it is kind of like the master of quite a few trade or master of what's the saying? It's
jack of all trades,
master of none. Yeah, so it's a bit like that, but I think it does those jack of all trades very well, and I think it's for something that you're not even paying money for through PlayStation Plus at the moment. Again, we've mentioned just like Matchpoint on Xbox. I think it's well worth your time just to give it a go and see if that gameplay loop does sort of speak to you. It's a pretty game. It does feel fun to play, as we've mentioned. Like some of that, the hub area can be a bit annoying, and it doesn't really need to be there. Like I feel like you could just literally just start a run, and you select maybe some challenges to do to get your gear, and that would be better than just going back to that hub area. But
agreed.
Like, I haven't played any co-op yet. I reckon co-op would be quite fun going against bosses, and then I understand at end of levels you actually do have like enemy, or you have player versus player stuff just for certain rounds for a bit of shits and giggles and a bit of fun, which I haven't actually gone hands on with.
Do you know, Steve, if you play co-op in this, can you get syphilis?
Yeah, I believe you can, yeah.
And
well-known fact.
The other thing I want to say, mate, is Returnal. Now, I can't remember, what was it 690 deaths or something I think I got up to in Returnal? I would be pushing it, I reckon, to even get 50 deaths in this. I don't reckon I've got 50 runs in me. But, as you said, mate, free game, worth checking out, in my opinion, worth the download. I enjoyed my time with it. They can totally stick the overworld, square up their clacker, though. I've got no interest in seeing that nonsense again.
No, great. It'll stay on my console for a little bit. I see myself going back and just having some runs here and there where I just have, a few spare moments here and there just to have a run. Because the good thing is that you can knock out those challenges sometimes pretty quick and unlock the new sort of cosmetic stuff for your character. And then you don't even have to finish the run to get that stuff. You can just opt out a level. It'll give you all your experience and all your stuff to go spend those points that you've earned and give you that stuff when you go back and speak to those obnoxious characters. So, it's good just to pick up and play for a quick one, I think. And, they definitely sort of nailed the aesthetic they were going for. And I just think the game is fun enough, and I just think it looks good. I think the feedback from the controllers really well implemented, and just I don't know, it's just a good time, just a good fun time.
Speaking of good fun times, this evening's Game 6 is Rogue Legacy 2, and boy, have I been having myself some fun. Now, boys, I'm just going to give you a minute here after this to see. Now, I want to say I'm about 5 hours into the gameplay. You'll see I'm level 17. I'm not the best at it, admittedly, but I've left it as the native gameplay experience. There are modifiers in there. You can make it very easy. Enemy damage can be wound from 100, down to 1. Your health can be wound from 100 to 1,000 or something crazy. But now on screen, check it out. This is me doing a platforming challenge in this game, and I'll just let the gameplay speak for itself here. You just watch and admire the skill on display. Yeah.
I don't know whether to take you for real. I don't know whether you're actually going to have skill here or not with that laugh. I'm not 100% sure.
You watch, mate. You just watch what happens here. Woo, look at me. I'm landing it. I'm sticking every jump. I don't know what.
I mean, I know exactly this part because I've done it. I've done this here. That's good work. That's good, solid platforming.
I didn't think that I would ever have a run like this ever in this game, and they have just nailed
that makes two of us.
For me, I play it all on I'm playing it on the Xbox Series X, and I'm using the Elite Series 2, the what do you call it, the D-pad, not the left thumbstick. I'm using the D-pad because I'm an old school gamer and I've got to use it. And I got to say, their implementation is fantastic. As you can see here, everyone knows I'm a terrible platformer, but I would submit this as Exhibit A to my rebuttal that I'm a terrible platformer. I found some.
Hey, you're nailing this. You are nailing it.
I just, it suits me down to the ground. The other thing I want to say about this game is I love the writing. As much as I hated the characters in Arcadegeddon, the style they went for was just horrible. But this, Rogue Legacy 2, it's my kind of humour down to the ground. It's the sort of stuff I show my boys and they read it, and it's got the humour that, you know, a 40-year-old man and his 6-year-old son can both sit there and laugh at together. It's a fantastic experience. And speaking to that point, it's a great game to be on the couch with and do the old, you know, I've died, pass the controller over, he dies, pass the controller back. It's a fantastic experience in that sense as well. I absolutely love the writing. I love the visual style. I love the way it controls. I love my ability to do the platforming in this. I have nothing bad to say about this game. Unkie Dunkie, I know you've got hands-on, mate. Did you want to elaborate on any points?
I think I've spoken to it previously on another show and spoke glowingly of my impression of this game already. But no, I'll second you. It's such a great game. I really enjoyed the first one. The second one just does everything the first one does, but dialed up and better. I still haven't beaten the first boss in the first area or biome. Mainly because it keeps kicking my teeth in, so I've been grinding away and trying to upgrade all my character abilities and stuff like that. And I'm getting there. I reckon I'm close to beating that first boss, but I still remember the first boss in the first game kicking my teeth in for quite a bit. So it's got that Cuphead about it. Eventually, I'll get there and then beat him. But no, quality game.
Indeed, I agree. Now, Bully, have you checked out Rogue Legacy 2 at all, mate?
I haven't checked out the second one. Loved the first one. It was amazing. I'm just looking at the gameplay footage here. It looks the first one looked good graphics wise. The second one looks fantastic. I'm loving the art style on it.
Yeah, I can't sing this game's praises enough. Even if you're terrible at platforming, anyone who enjoys platforming, even if you're bad at it, I reckon pick up Rogue Legacy 2. It just makes me smile ear to ear, and especially if you've got some young kids and you just want to pass the controller back and forth, fantastic way to spend your weekend, you know, with the boys or whatever you've got. I think it's great. So 2 big thumbs up from me. If no one else has got anything to say, let's kick it over to overtime, shall we, fellas?
Let's do it.
Boom! Overtime. Oh, there's one I never fixed. I'm just going to go back to that one. Sorry, guys. The overtime didn't quite make the upgrade. But, Unkie Dunkie, what do you got for us? What was your overtime this week?
Mate, speaking of games that look like Fortnite, I've been playing Fortnite. The Indiana Jones skin went live as a part of the Battle Pass in the last week, and and same with the what was the last one? The bad guy from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the purple guy. What's his name?
Yep, Prowler.
Prowler. So just like his challenges and stuff, I went through and knocked out the Indiana Jones ones as well. But I really enjoyed this part of Fortnite. Like when I'm actually doing these challenges to earn something, it really gets me back in play, especially with a skin like Indiana Jones and for all his stuff. And the challenges were actually really fun, and they were very Indiana Jones based to do. So it was like you had to get a certain amount of damage on enemies while standing on cars. You had to find the giant boulders in the level and make them roll at least 100 meters throughout a game. You had to go to a temple or 2 different temples within one match and steal the idol, and it was just a lot of fun to play. And I was playing as Nathan Drake, so no difference really to Indiana Jones. So I felt sort of right to be doing all these things anyway.
Oh, come on, mate. I'm going to give you an infringement notice if you do that comparison again.
Indiana Jones, the poor man's Nathan Drake.
Blasphemy! Nothing against my
for Indiana Jones, wasn't it? From Uncharted?
Nothing against my man Tom Holland. Excellent acting in the recent film, but come on, he's no Harrison Ford.
Mate, I'll say Nolan North is a fantastic actor in himself, playing the real Nathan Drake in the video.
I agree, mate. I agree.
No, but this was a lot of fun to play, and unlocking that was great. I spent a fair bit of time on it. Managed to get 2 victory royales in a row in my pursuit of Indiana Jones happiness as well, which was
that on your phone, mate? Was that a mobile phone with your controller? You weren't doing that hack?
That's only Apex Legends and Call of Duty that I'm renowned to, destroy noobs all day, every day. But no, Fortnite, PlayStation 5, to get 2 Battle Royales, solo victory royales in that, I was pretty impressed with myself.
Tip of the cap, sir, that is impressive.
One of those games I wasn't even trying to even win. I was just going for the final one, which is the 500 damage to an enemy standing on a car, and there was just me and this one guy just standing on trucks, just having cracks at each other, clearly both going for the exact same challenge. And we both almost died, and then I decided just to give up and run away without finishing that challenge right then and there, and then managed to win the victory royale. Didn't quite get, I think I got 498 damage. I had 2 more damage standing on a car for that challenge. That's still a whole other game for it, but managed to get myself the victory royale. So I got the crown, and then I managed to win a crown victory royale straight after that. So I won the victory royale while wearing the crown. So pretty happy with my effort in Fortnite last week with that.
Where's the screenshot, mate? Screenshot or it didn't happen?
Well, I actually did take the recording of both victory royales on PlayStation, so feel free to send it to you. And
send them through, mate. We'll put them up on the channel.
I'll send it through. Last 1 minute of both games, I absolutely destroyed. It's pretty. Like, I don't see what people like when there's 3 people left. I never get the idea of the 2 that like decide. One of them decides to go after another guy because it's just easy pickings. Like they just go after each other. One guy's like kills the other guy. He's like, you just run out and just destroy him because he's lost all his health.
Let me guess. You just stand back and have a smoke break and wait for them to sort it out, and then you pick off the loser.
Pretty much. I'm usually crouched behind a tree or a rock somewhere, just waiting with a sniper rifle or some SMG, and I'll just run in and just pick off the rest of their health.
Dirty, rotten camper.
Yeah, you know it, mate. But mate, when you say camper, but I've been going these. I used to do that in Fortnite. Just I'd be 1 kill, 2 kills a game and win a victory royale. But now I'm sitting around 8 to 10 kills a match now and getting my victory royales. So I've gone up in Fortnite. I've actually from watching Troy's son play, I've actually enjoyed Fortnite more and not realize I have to win every match to have fun. I can just go out there and do these challenges, drop hot and amongst like 4 or 5 other players and just try and get early kills, and it's just a lot of fun.
Did you happen to see his 18 kill victory royale, mate?
I did not see the 18 kill, but that's something to strive for now that I'm going to have to do because, I consider myself, I've been playing games a lot longer than your son, so the fact that he's got one over me, that's really annoying.
Oh, mate, you should see him platform. He can platform like a legend, and he certainly didn't get that from me.
I'm sure in your younger days, Troy, you managed to platform like the best of us.
Nah, afraid not. Anyway, that's a good summary of Fortnite, mate. How about any other overtime for you?
Just more Back for Blood. I don't know if I've mentioned last week. I don't think I had finished at that point. I did finish Back for Blood on the easiest difficulty, and I'm now pretty much all the way through. I think I'm up to Act 3 on the next difficulty, playing solo. So really loving my time with Back for Blood. Really working on that card deck and working on a player that can get through these challenges now, which, we couldn't even do as part of a team, or we couldn't even get through that first couple of levels, I think, early on. I don't know whether there's just more weapon balancing or the fact that I've just got better cards now in my deck and gives me better abilities to be able to get through these levels, but I'm just really loving my time, and I can't wait to jump in with some actual co-op and stop playing the solo stuff. But, I can't speak, more highly of Back for Blood and what it's doing for me and the first-person shooter genre. It's such a great game.
How about this, a pitch for you, Steve? What do you say? Wednesday morning on the channel, we do a co-op Back for Blood stream.
Oh, mate, I'm working Arvos. That's a possibility.
Indeed. Aaron, if you're watching, mate, get it installed and get ready. You can jump on into that one. That is for sure. Bully, any thoughts or comments Back for Blood?
I might be available Wednesday as well.
Oh, I was going to jump on in, mate. Jump on in. Perfect. Let's do it, fellas.
We could rip through it.
Let's get back to some blood. Okay, I guess that comes up to my overtime. Now, just briefly, Yakuza Like a Dragon. It's the first game I've ever checked out in the Yakuza franchise based on both the Steve's recommendation recently on Gaming Enforcement Agency. And I haven't been shocked by dialogue the way I had in about the first 3 minutes, I think, of Yakuza. It legitimately got me to stop, do a double take. If I had water in my mouth, it would have been a spit take. I won't repeat the phrase, but my God, play the opening intro of that game, and if you're not shocked by that dialogue, I guess you've got less delicate sensibilities than I do. That being said, thoroughly enjoyable. I had no idea. I knew there were mini games in it, but I didn't really have the whole picture in my head. I've only thrown maybe 2 hours into it. Oh, I also need to note that this is all on the xCloud. I haven't installed it yet. Playing it via xCloud on the phone. I've got the Xbox Series X controller. I've got the little, mobile phone holster thing. So I'm playing it in bed at night on the phone, listening on the headphones. And my missus certainly gave me a crack when I was shocked so much it woke her up. Oh, Jesus, what's going on here? Smack! Oh, okay, sorry, love. Anyway, so that was Yakuza Like a Dragon. The other one I've checked out is Rage 2, based on the conversation we had on the last episode of the Gaming Enforcement Agency. I've put maybe 4 hours into it at this point. I absolutely love this game, but I want to experience a little bit on PC. I want to try just a few things. So next episode of G.E.A, I'm going to be back, and in the main part of the Interrogation Deliberation, I'm going to go right into Rage 2. But 2 big raging thumbs up from me, and that's it for my overtime bully. Sir, what have you got for us?
Just a little bit of overtime this week. A bit of a late to the party. I hadn't done a lot of research and I hadn't played a WWE game in a while, but WWE 2K22. We had a bit of a banter on the messages during the week or a couple of weeks ago with some of the characters. I thought it was just all the new characters that I haven't seen. Unbeknownst to me, the heyday of WWF back in the late 80s, early 90s, all those characters there. You got your Rowdy Roddy Piper, your Big Boss Man, your Macho Man, Randy Savage, your Ric Flair. I love it. Love it. So I've jumped into that. I know we've spoken about it in the past, the character creator. I haven't even got anywhere near that. I've jumped straight into the I can't remember, the My Zone, I think it's called.
Yeah,
just jump straight into that and unlocking some of the characters in there. But absolutely loving it. It's a fantastic game. It's not takes a little bit to get used to the counter system and how that sort of works. But once you do, absolutely loving it.
Now, do you agree with me that it does sort of harken back to more of those Nintendo 64 wrestling games where it keeps it a bit more simple when it comes to its control scheme?
Yeah, 100%. So you don't have to. It's not like a hardcore fighter like your Street Fighter or your Mortal Kombat where you have to remember these moves and counter moves and all that sort of stuff. There's one button for a counter if you can time it right, which isn't always easy to do, and then the rest of it just sort of flows. So it's light attacks, heavy attacks, and it depends on where you are in comparison to your opponent as to what sort of attack they'll do, and then you can start throwing in running attacks and climbing off the ropes and all that sort of stuff on top of that. Funnily enough, there was an old WWF arcade game from, I'd have to say the early 90s, and it reminds me of that, an updated version of that. Very simple to play, a couple of buttons and the old joystick, and tons of fun to be had in there. And from what I can see, I've only scratched the surface of it, but tons of content as well if you want to go into whale territory. Like Unkie Dunkie over there. I've already someone call an ambulance. I think someone's dying over there. If you want to, if you want to murder your wallet, certainly jump onto the store there because there's packs aplenty for new character unlocks and all the rest of it. I can't speak highly enough. It absolutely shocked me that I was enjoying it this much, to be honest.
2 points I'd like to make. The first one is there is a 2-hour game trial on PlayStation Plus. So if what Bully's saying is speaking to you, you can check it out if you're a PlayStation Plus subscriber for that 2 hours. But my second point was actually a question for you, Bully. On the last episode, you were saying you'd ordered it from Limited Run Games, or so I can't remember where you ordered it from. But my question is, did you receive it, and how was that physical install? Were you happy with it?
No issues. I think I got it from Amazon, which they seem to be a bit slow on some of the releases and pretty quick on others. It's just a bit of a a bit of a hit and miss with it. I think the one I did get off limited run games was the Shredder's Revenge, which has got a...
Yes, sorry.
I think their normal thing is a 6 to 8 month delay on print once the pre-orders are finished. So I'm not expecting to get that until probably towards the end of the year.
Very good. A Chrissy one then.
Well, hopefully, and that can I can put the special edition up the top of the tree.
Are you sure it won't be Balan Wonderland on top of the tree, mate?
That'll be used to wipe up the Christmas dinner off my chin, I think.
Very good. All right, Unkie Dunkie, what do you got for us next, mate?
No, I know we're supposed to do the news next, Troy, but I think we're going to go to Gary Edmund Albatros. That's G.E.A. Gary Edmund Albatros in the newsroom, Troy.
We interrupt the Gaming Enforcement Agency for this very important thought. Have you ever considered what the video company games do with your money after you pre-order but before they release the game? More importantly, what happens after they've announced the pre-order and then they delay the game by, say, 3 months? Think about this. What if 100,000 people pre-ordered a game at, say, $60 a piece? That would then give the company $6 million. Now, what could that company do with $6 million over 3 months with the interest-free loan? Could they maybe invest your hard-earned money in, say, the stock market and turn themselves a profit? Sure, that $6 million is an interest-free loan, but eventually that $6 million does go towards paying for the product. However, any interest they earn off that money will become their profit, not yours. Anytime after you've pre-ordered, then they delay the game for any amount of time they choose, they can invest that money and do with what they want to make themselves an additional profit. Wouldn't that money be better off in your pocket for 3 or 6 months? I know I won't be pre-ordering. With that thought, back to the enforcers. You have the right to remain newsworthy. Story 1 this evening, God of War Ragnarok launches in November, and you can check out the new trailer. Unkie Dunkie, have you checked it out, mate?
To be honest, I don't even think I have watched the new trailer. I just got excited for the fact that we got a release date for this game, and I know you're still skeptical about this game coming out on that date, but no, this game's coming this year. I've stuck true to this for quite a while now. I reckon this date's not moving, and our next news story that we go to will solidify the fact that this game is coming out this date. I'm excited. I don't really want to see too much. I'm kind of want to go cold turkey into this game and not actually see a whole bunch of stuff on it, because I played God of War, 2018. I sort of know what I want. I don't want too many spoilers about what's going on within the story. I've got some ideas of where it's going to go. I feel like we're going to play as Atreus, or he's going to become our main character at some point. There's going to be some time travel stuff with the whole dragon or whatever he was from the first game, and there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff going on, but I'm just excited. We've finally got a date. There was a lot of rumours. Started out as a Twitter, I think, announcement to give us this date after, I think, last G.E.A. where Corey Barlog was coming out and saying, yep, we stop hounding us. It's coming. We're not giving a date. And then, within like a week or two, we've got a date. So I don't think they've given this date just because of the fact that, people have been asking for it. I think, they were willing to announce it. They just wanted to wait for the right time. And I think now's the right time. So, Troy, are you on bandwagon Ragnarok coming out this year, or are you still thinking next year?
Not a chance. I reckon they'll be pulling this train into the station February next year, I think is the likely one. And dare I speculate, maybe October we'll get some sort of headline to that effect.
Bully?
I don't know. I think they have to make it stick this year now. At this point, there's been so much conjecture about it. I can't see really how, now they've named it, it's coming out one way or another. It doesn't matter whether it's coming out as hot trash or whether it's done and dusted, ready and bug free. I think it's coming out one way or another. I think the one game that may, just as a side note, be hoping that it does get pushed, Skull and Bones, releasing 2 days before.
Is it 2 days?
Are you people nuts?
What was the difference between Horizon Forbidden West or whatever 2 and Elden Ring? Was that 2 days or was it a week or something?
It was a week, I think.
But equally crazy, Bully. I couldn't agree more with you, mate. That's Skull and Bane. What's the chance if Ragnarok does happen to stick the landing? Do you reckon they push Skull and Bones?
Oh, I think they have to. Skull and I know this isn't the story, but Skull and Bones has been in development hell for years. You finally get it up to a point
2014, I want to say it started, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's been going on for years. You finally release a trailer. What are you thinking? Push it back a couple of months.
Yeah, I don't see the issue pushing it either, because we've waited this long for it. And when I say waited, I mean it's been in development that long. I don't know if anyone's waiting for it, but why not just push it even further? Like, it's not going to make any difference whatsoever.
Yeah. Callum excited. I can't wait to go hands-on with God of War Ragnarok. I loved, was it 2018, 2016? The recent reboot of it. I absolutely loved that. 2018, thanks, Billy. Yeah, I loved it. I can't wait to go hands-on with this, but I'm pretty sure it'll be February next year when that happens, and not due to my limited bloody money, due to the fact that I don't think it'll be on the shelves.
I just don't think you announce a date for it this late in the year and have it not hit. I could see if they'd given this October date in, say, E3 last year or late last year, yeah, it's coming October, then maybe you push it because it's coming up. But the fact that we're getting the release date, in July for an October release, I just don't see it missing that date for whatever reason.
Well, they've got form for it, though. So wasn't Gran Turismo is supposed to be a launch window game when then it was, now it's February, now it's...
Correct.
Well, now, now it's 12 months later. So they got pushed almost 18 months from its original release date.
Definitely. And
no one really cares. Really,
wasn't the Horizon sequel meant to be November last year, and then wasn't it February this year?
Yeah, but I'd like to check the facts on when it was announced for that November date. Like, how early was that date given to us beforehand? I don't know if it's, a few months out. Like, I don't know if it's a July announcement for an October kind of date. That's my only... I'd have to do some checking and see when those were announced, but this is a pretty, late time to announce a game for a release date. Without hitting, I reckon.
Well, Bully, you're on the fence, mate, so I'm not going to throw this off to you, but Unkie, we couldn't be more polar opposite on this one, mate. I tell you what, if this does come out in November, I'll pick up the price of your copy for you, mate. I'll buy it for you. But when it does come out in February, mate, you better be buying me that deluxe edition.
Oh, mate, we'll shake on it.
It doesn't come with a game.
Perfect. All right. All right, story 2 this evening from GameSpot. Square Enix Forspoken delayed to 2023 for PS5 and PC. My goodness. Steve, what do you got for us?
Mate, and this is why I am solidified on the fact that God of War is coming out. This game, third-person action-adventure fantasy world game slated for October. They announced that God of War is coming out, or they know God of War is coming out early November. Why would you push this game, Troy? For the same reason that stupid pirate game should be delayed. Because there's no way you should release a game anywhere near God of War. God of War is coming in early November. This game could not survive if it came in October because everyone's playing God of War. Case dismissed.
No, let me ask you this, mate. Why, if you were Sony and do we know the price tag yet on the development costs of God of War Ragnarok? Over 100 million, surely.
Yeah.
So, if you've got over $100 million investment, why would you release it this year so it's up against Elden Ring for Game of the Year, which there's 1% chance that it'll actually knock Elden Ring off Game of the Year, when you could delay it till February and then have a clean crack at the Game of the Year for next year with your $100 million plus investment? Wouldn't that make a bit more sense?
No, because I think they know they can potentially compete with Elden Ring for Game of the Year. I don't think they release games to try and win Game of the Year anyway. You're going to have different tastes for different people as well. And
sure.
Some people may prefer a game like, God of War than they will play Elden Ring. You might argue that God of War's going to sell more than Elden Ring, I guarantee you. In terms of the market. It will.
By Christmas, by Game of the Year discussions.
Yeah, maybe not Christmas. In terms of PlayStation, obviously Elden Ring's multi-platform, but I I guarantee you're getting more sell-through of God of War on PlayStation than you are of Elden Ring.
I completely accept and concede that point to you, mate. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, so I mean, and the quality of game itself, we know they make a great game. Like they proved it with 2018 God of War, arguably one of the best games ever made.
Yep.
And if they can sort of, we're obviously going to get something similar. What's the point of making a sequel if they're going to completely change it? We know the gameplay is good. It's what they can do with that story, emotional resonance within the characters and how they tell it. Whether it is jarring, like, Last of Us 2 came out, obviously had some jarring ways the story went. If they do something similar with God of War, just for that shock factor and, people, it is kind of, divided audience in the way they receive that. Obviously, 2018, we played majority as Kratos, and you could imagine that's what's going to happen with this one. But I could also see them sort of moving the franchise forward and, removing Kratos as your main character, and all of a sudden you're playing as Atreus, and how much does that affect not sales, but people's enjoyment of the game? Do they do it well enough that you do enjoy playing as a new character with these new mechanics? There's a lot of stuff up in the air, and you obviously want to move the franchise forward and try and do something different. Otherwise, you'll just play God of War 2018. So, but yeah, I mean, reviews will speak for themselves, but I see this game selling very well. I see it selling very well in November, and it's mainly because, and that's a reason I think Forspoken being a very similar style sort of game that will probably benefit from being a January, February release. Obviously, January 24, great time. Obviously, a lot of games sort of seem to come out around that time now anyway, but I think you want to be far clear of God of War if you're, if you were going to come out and you're a Sony exclusive. They want all their games to sort of, sing for themselves. And if you're putting that game anywhere near God of War, it's probably just going to get, buried under the pile of all the people playing God of War. So why not push this game back if people are playing God of War, which is what I think means God of War definitely is coming this year, with Forspoken being pushed to January.
So you think Sony want to take two Black Eyes, the Forbidden West and God of War, losing out to Elden Ring potentially in Game of the Years?
Essentially, I don't think they're too worried about Game of the Year stuff. Like, I think they'll put out their game and they'll be confident in it. I mean, it's competition. You release your game when it's ready to release, and if you're up against other competition, then it's just going to be compete against that better competition. And if you can beat out a very good game, being Elden Ring, which is currently, standing at Game of the Year for myself, if you can come to me as a consumer and be better than that game, then my God, we're having great conversations at the end of the year for Game of the Year if we've got a game better than Elden Ring.
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't agree more, mate. And I hope it is. I hope it does give it a run for a plenty. I'd love to be blown away by God of War. Love the first one. It blew me away. I'd love to. So, sorry, just to circle back a little, do you think maybe they're going to do a Last of Us 2 and half the game will be one character and the other half will be the other? Is that sort of where you're expecting it, or?
I could see it going that way. I can definitely see it switching up some kind of gameplay mechanic there, and obviously, it's not worried about spoilers at this point in time, but his son obviously being Loki, and there's some kind of rumors of time travel where, you're potentially playing as Kratos and maybe Loki he's back there as an adult, and all of a sudden you're playing as him or you're fighting him as Kratos. Like, there's different ways it could go. It could be like this conflict between him and his son who's now older, or you get to play this older version of Atreus who is Loki. And I don't know, I can see it going multiple different ways. There's different theories I've got about what this game could do. They could completely, be thrown out of the water the second we start playing it. But I'm excited to see where they take it. But I could definitely see us playing as someone else, especially by the end of the game, as someone else, just so they can move that franchise forward away from Kratos and just sort of create this God of War. Like, it sort of throws it out there. It doesn't necessarily need to be Kratos. You put Loki in there as the main character and everyone likes him. Why not continue the series as this new character?
Sure. How about this? Time travel forward. Loki is the father and his daughter is the playable character at the end of the game. And instead of hearing boy all the time, we hear girl.
Mate, I could definitely see that happening as well in this current world.
Bully, any thoughts, mate, on this story?
I think, for me, it speaks bigger issues to Square Enix's position. They've just recently jettisoned off a lot of their Western studios with the disappointment of Marvel and was the Guardians of the Galaxy was the other one.
Yeah, that's right.
Which didn't sell overly well, so they've sort of jettisoned off a lot of those. I think they're in a position where they're and Babylon 4 was the other one that absolutely tanked and basically no one playing it anymore. To be fair, I think it speaks to a bigger issue within the company itself, that they're maybe just sitting back, taking stock, and actually reevaluating where everything is, and they can't afford to drop another game like Babylon's Fall or lose the money that they have on those two Marvel games. I just can't see how they can do that and then push through to trying to release Final Fantasy 16, and which we've got a release date for mid next year. And there's also
what about
Kingdom Hearts
7-2 remake?
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's 7-2 remake. There's Kingdom Hearts 4, which there's been some whispers that that's a late 2023-ish game.
Yep.
One can only hope, but they've got a lot coming out in the next 12 months, and I think as a company, they're in a position where they can't afford any more slip-ups.
Yep, couldn't agree more. All right, that'll bring us on to story 3, which is from Polygon. Thanks, Polygon. This is Tom Clancy's, The Division goes mobile with its next game. Unkie Dunkie, what can you tell us, mate?
I mean, the title kind of speaks for itself, but it seems like it's not bucking the trend. It's going along with the trend of releasing well-known sort of games to mobile. Like Call of Duty's had some success, PUBG's had success, Apex Legends is having success on mobile, and now one of our favourite, third-person, open world, what do you want to call it, multiplayer experiences is coming to mobile. I could see this doing well. I could also see it incorporating a lot of microtransactions. Potentially, once you get to a certain point in the game, maybe see similar criticize that. What am I
criticisms?
Criticisms, that's the word, that Diablo has had with its sort of pay-to-win model once you hit a certain level in that game, as good as the game is. But no, I don't know. I could see myself playing this. I've got a brand new tablet that I've been playing on. If I could play controller and have some good progression, some good gameplay with this, I think I speak for all of us when I say we all enjoy the Division gameplay.
Yeah, yep.
And grind and loop and that of all that. So I could see it working pretty well, especially with the current technology we've got with handheld gaming and stuff. It's just, I do sort of feel, especially with Ubisoft also being offenders in the past in relation when it comes to microtransactions and loot boxes, that a mobile version of the game is going to be rife with it. But I don't know, I'd still be excited to play it.
Yeah, you and I both, mate. Definitely. Time to go mobile. So that'll bring us on to story 4. 13's remake is getting a remake. Steve, what's going on there?
I thought this was really funny. I don't know if there's been a time in recent future where we've had a remake get a remake. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I know I really enjoyed the first 13 game. I was actually really looking forward to the remake when it was first announced. I just saw the horrendous reviews for it. Like, they were Balan Wonderland quality reviews for this game, that how bad it was. And even the whale in me couldn't even pay money to just try this, just to see what it was like. I just couldn't do it. So, but from what I'm reading of this, the remake of the remake that's coming, it's looking like they're doing much of this, tweaking something to do with the art style. I think it's getting 60 frames per second on PS5 and Xbox Series X. No mention of PC getting 60 frames, which is a bit strange. It's coming to Switch as well. But maybe we finally get the remake version of 13 that we deserved at the first time it came out. The good sign is that it is actually going to be free to anyone that does have the copy of the game, even though it's essentially looking like it's going to be a brand new version of the game. Like, it's not just minor amendments they're making. They are fully rebuilding this game from the ground up. So I'd be interested to see what kind of reception it gets. And if it gets a good reception, I could actually see myself jumping back into this game and playing it. Because, as I said, I really did enjoy the aesthetic and gameplay of 13 when it first released.
Can I suggest, mate, they should go and lean in and call it 13-3? 13-2 being the first remake, 13-3 the second remake.
No, they probably should. They should. Bully, what do you reckon? Did you play 13 back in the day? Are you excited for this remake of a remake?
Oh, I played the original one. Loved it. Finished it. Ends on an absolute cliffhanger. Please stop with this rubbish and make a sequel. I want to know how the story ends.
I love it. I love it, Bully. All right, story... Whoa, I'm clicking the wrong thing there. All right, story 5 this evening from Polygon. Back to the Polygon lads. Cult Camp zombie game Lollipop Chainsaw, my goodness, I can't read now, is getting a remake. Now, I never played the original. The only thing I remember from the original is the front cover. So has anyone got anything for me on this one?
This is going straight to Bully, the weeb legend that he is.
You know I played it.
I do. I don't know, but I do know, you know.
It's mindless fun. It's just it's a brawler. In essence, it's just a bit of fun. The big drawing point, obviously, is that you're playing as a cheerleader in a tight skirt.
Oh, I thought it was Harley Quinn.
No. It's a cheerleader in tight. And funnily enough, I think if memory serves, there's actually an achievement for if you get her at the right angle when she's bending over, and you can see her up under the skirt. You get an achievement for that.
A kitty cat. You see a kitty cat.
Yes.
And it's not the only thing popping at the time, I guess. All right, story 5 would be Hitman 3's. Now, this is me down to the ground, lads. Hitman 3's new Ambrose Island map dated with a location reveal trailer. Now, did you guys check out this reveal trailer? Because it's a thing of beauty.
I haven't seen it. Has it got anything to do with golf?
No, no, it doesn't, mate. But it does.
Cool.
It's the Hitman 3. So you spend the whole time going, come on, where's Hitman? Put him on screen. Where's Hitman? Where's Hitman? And then the final shot, I think, oh gosh, now I'm going to get this wrong, but I think the final shot is the back of his feet. That's it's like the last shot. You don't see it for the whole thing. It's the biggest tease I've ever seen in a trailer. But color me excited. I can't wait to go hands-on with some fresh Hitman 3 content. Bully, anything from you, mate? Oh, sorry, Steve. Go, mate.
I was going to say, shouldn't they be working on that James Bond game? Don't be working on DLC for Hitman. Just get that James Bond game out. Come on.
Bully, what do you got, mate? Anything on Hitman 3? How does it strike you?
Oh, I think I played the first mission, I think, ages ago when it first came out, but your
the Dubai
enthusiasm
level
for it. Yeah, yes, the Dubai one, yeah.
Yep.
But your enthusiasm for it has actually made me go and re-download it on the Xbox with the Game Pass. So
yes, I love it.
Jumping back into that. Hopefully have more for you next week.
Perfect. Excellent stuff. All right. Then we have Game Rant bringing us the Xbox Series X/S is the best way to play Grand Theft Auto 4. Now, my apologies. If you look right here, it says this story was posted 2 months ago, but it had slipped completely under my radar. I had no idea this was a thing. So today I installed it again, installed for the first time, but installed it for the second time in my life on an Xbox. And my goodness, is it a thing of beauty on the Xbox Series X. I can't recommend this experience enough. You fire it up, you get that opening cinematic again, you know, the big platypus ship pulling into New York, well, not New York Harbor, Liberty City Harbor, but my goodness, you know, the nostalgia hits hard and it looks and runs beautifully. If you ever enjoyed Grand Theft Auto 4, do yourself a favor. If you've got an Xbox Series X, install it. It's a thing of beauty, guys. Have you, either of you checked it out?
Yeah, I checked it out, funnily enough, 2 months ago, Troy. No, it ran really well. I was surprised because GTA 4 is renowned for not running well on anything, really.
Yeah.
It never hit a consistent frame rate back in the day, and it struggled even on the newer systems in current times. But no, it seems to hit that 60 frames per second pretty consistently. It's not the best. It's probably looked better in my mind than when I saw it on my TV. But no, it's the physics are kind of cool. I think it was the last time they used that physics engine for a Grand Theft Auto game, and some of the ragdoll stuff was quite funny to play around with. But no, I had some fun jumping back into GTA 4 2 months ago.
Dare I suggest, mate, it's your 77-inch behemoth of a monitor that's done you a disservice there. On my little 50-inch LCD LG firing off a beauty, it looks fantastic.
No, it could be that. It could be that.
Bully, mate, any interest in going back to Liberty City, Grand Theft Auto 4 style?
Well, I'm just wondering if it's the best way to play it. Does that mean that they've managed to somehow cut out cousin Nico?
Oh, I hope not.
Because that'd be probably the one way I'd be able to get back into it. He was a pain in the absolute backside, ringing the
cousin. Let's go bowling.
Nah, if they cut him out, I might jump back into it. Otherwise, I still haven't even gone into the into the PS5 or a Series X version of GTA 5 yet. So
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure I'll be jumping back on this one anytime soon.
I would recommend doing 4 before you do 5, but I understand your point, mate. If you don't enjoy his cousin Roman, I think, if you don't enjoy the Roman character, I understand not going near it. But for me, Grand Theft Auto 4 made me happier than playing Grand Theft Auto 5 on the Xbox Series X. It was a great experience. I'm not dissing 5, but 4 takes the biscuits for my money. Now, next story, back to Video Games Chronicle. Thank you, fellas over there. Returnal's Steam listing continues to get updatings ahead of a possible reveal. This one I just want to throw out there. Everyone, heads up, if you're the PC gaming type, you've got Returnal inbound, and it was Geek Aloud's Game of the Year last year. I can't recommend it enough. I've totally blanked Steve. Fill in if you know, man, how many hours I threw into this bad boy. But Game of the Year last year, if you haven't played it yet and you're a PC gamer, you are in for a treat whenever they drop this.
You definitely took the words out of my mouth. G.E.A. Game of the Year last year for good reason. We both platinumed it, absolutely adored it.
Real gamers.
Real gamer, hashtag real gamers. I'm pretty sure, were you 3 days?
No, I was over 7. I know I was definitely over a week by the end of it.
God, I think much more deaths than me.
I think I might have been at the 3-day mark. I might have just been finishing up Biome 2, I think.
Yeah, I still have to thank you for finishing Biome 3 before I did and giving me the spark to go back to this game, because I was almost off it until the competitive edge got to me, and then I had to, beat you. So, I still have to thank you for that. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have had Returnal as my Game of the Year. As good as I could see it was never in the running until that very moment.
My pleasure, Unkie Dunkie. What about you, Bully? How do you feel about the old Returnal?
I've put a few hours into it. It's probably not quite my cup of tea, but I think this is just going to become more and more common with the new PS Plus announced that we're just going to be getting ports of the PlayStation Studios games over to the PC.
Yeah, was it 300 million, I want to say, that Sony are forecasting for this financial year of PC games? Like, this financial year is in the first 6 months of next year, I think. But it'll be Returnal, it'll be Spider-Man. They're expecting $300 million in revenue off it. So you're right, mate. If you're a PC gamer, you're in for a couple of absolute gems in the next few months, I reckon.
Yeah, and I think that's just going to continue. I think I can see the gap. I don't think that you'll ever get to day-and-date releases the same as PS5, but I reckon you'll get to, within about 6 months, you'll have them releasing on the PC, which might satiate some of the fans over there that prefer the PC version. It's not that long in the tooth that you're waiting like we have with some of them for 2-3 years before they get ported over.
Well, what was
so I think that's just going to continue to tick over.
Yes, sorry, mate, for interrupting. Unkie, you'll be able to tell us, mate, what was the delay between Uncharted's initial release and then its PC release? That'd be several years.
Oh, easily. It's probably 2 years, I reckon, between getting those between PS5 and PC. But I think, as Bully said, I reckon you will start seeing that gap condense over the years. And I think, I don't think we're going to see day in, day out PC, PS5, but I think that gap will definitely, diminish away as we go. Yeah, between that sort of 6 to 3 months, I think you'll start to eventually see with PS5 and maybe even down the track PS6 time, you start seeing it day in, day out, but no time soon, I don't think.
That's exactly what I was going to say, man. If they haven't done it by the time they launch the PS6, I reckon it'll be the PS6 launch where they start going day and day. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's earlier, like maybe the end of 2024. We're starting to get day and date Sony games, PlayStation and PC release. Totally speculation from my point. I know nothing, but that's my guess anyway.
I don't think it hurts their front line either way. So
no, God no. Absolutely not. All right, that is it for the news segment. So as we always do, we finish with Game Informer's new releases coming out this week. First off the block, Garden Story coming to Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, with a July 12th release, which is tomorrow. Guys, any interest in this one?
Nope.
All right, then, moving right along.
No.
Time on Frog Island, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series XX, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC, coming out everywhere. July 12th. Oh, sorry, it's not coming out on the Stadia. Coming out everywhere of note, July 12th. Guys, what about this one? Time on Frog Island?
I once spent 20 minutes on an island that had a frog on it, and that wasn't that enjoyable. So I'm not sure how much time I'm going to spend on Frog Island, Troy.
Fair enough.
I actually like look at this one. It's got a bit of the old point and click adventure crossed with Animal Crossing type vibes to it, from what I've seen. So if it ends up being on Game Pass, I might have a look at it.
That frog on the front cover, if you pull that up, Troy, he
reminds me of someone.
He's looking a bit stoned, I'm just going to say.
Well, what's that? I'm totally blanking on his...
He's carrying a very suspicious plant as well.
I'm totally blanking on his name, but what's that frog that they use everywhere on the line? The meme frog. He looks like that meme frog to me.
He does a bit.
All right,
Maybe it's Frogger. Frogger was a well-known green character, as you're aware if you watched G.E.A. last week. Didn't win, but he's up there.
Indeed. Next up, we've got Loop Mounter on the PC, July 13th. Fellas, any feelings on this one?
No, it's only on PC, Troy, so I pass for me.
Bully, nothing for you, I take it, mate?
Nope.
Rightio then, Escape Academy, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, S, PS4, Xbox One and PC, July 14th. Will either of you be attempting to escape the Academy?
Bully and I both escaped the Academy back in the day, so I don't feel the need to do it again, but I have heard good things about this. It's got to get escape room kind of vibes going on. So if you're into your escape rooms and you don't want to go anywhere to do it for the fear of catching COVID or any other disease out there at the moment, feel free to do it in your home or any of those consoles, except Stadia.
Well, it is on Game Pass too.
Oh, look out.
Is it?
Excellent work, Bully. I love it when you get our backs like that, mate. Perfect work. Next up, we have Eyes in the Dark, The Curious Case of One Victorian Bloom, coming to PC July 14th. As we've just said, none of us are PC, so moving on. Rune Factory 5, also coming to PC. That'll do us for this segment, which...
It's funny you should say, though, the Rune Factory 5 picture as a picture of a Switch copy of the game. So, I don't know.
Released on the other consoles in, I'm going to say, March.
Perfect work, mate.
March 2022. 22 of March came out. Yeah, Switch.
Perfect. You all know what time it is. Unkie Dunkie, sir. Over to you for the big question.
Who will fight?
Who will fight? As mentioned earlier, we have the biggest cliches in gaming, or at least the ones I've selected anyway, which I think are definitely up there. First up, Troy, we have the silent protagonist. Mate, feel free, Bully. Name me a famous silent protagonist. Feel free to use the screen.
Just about every JRPG character.
Yeah, there's a lot out there. And even looking at these ones, you've got Link. He's obviously occasionally goes, yeah.
Gordon Freeman for me. Gordon Freeman is the guy that takes the biscuits. Much love for Gordon Freeman. He is the number one silent protagonist in my mind.
I mean, there's a lot to be said for a silent protagonist. Obviously, it puts you in the role of the character and stuff like that. But I still find it weird that you've got these characters have been asking questions and stuff, and they just sort of nod along, and it's all very strange. But there's a lot out there. G.E.A, obviously, G.E.A 3, your character was silent. They obviously brought in talking characters eventually. So, I don't know. For myself, I prefer a main character that talks just in terms of the story and stuff, but I can obviously see where it comes from. And I don't know. When's the most recent? Have we had a recent game that has had a silent protagonist that you can think of?
Well, I scratched the memory bank to think of that, mate. But for me personally, I love a silent protagonist. It really helps me immerse myself in the game world. If it's someone else's voice, I've got that instant disconnect. But if they don't say anything, I can much easier get on board with the immersion train and feel like it's me. Bully, how do you feel about the old silent protagonist?
I always love Link because they'd ask him a question and then they'd continue talking like he'd answered the question, but nothing was ever said.
Steve?
Agreed.
Sorry, mate. I was going to pitch for you, silent protagonist of recent note, Elden Ring.
Oh, yeah, no, true. Yep, pretty much all the Dark Souls characters, to be honest.
Yeah.
Don't really speak, do they? I suppose it's a very good pitch. I like that one. Because, it's less so common in your third-person games because you're seeing a character. I get it when you're playing as a first-person character and you're supposed to obviously be, role playing as that character, and having them speak could bring you out of it. But yeah, having a third person action game without a voice, especially for something that's as new as Elden Ring, good pull.
All right, thanks, mate. All right, what's number 2 this evening?
We have Eagle Vision / Detective Vision, which is in so many games these days. And some games do it well where they actually have a reason or some kind of it's not just the gameplay mechanic. It's sort of weaved into the story and the mythos of the game and how your character can do it. So
as you can see here, man, Batman, perfect example. He nailed it.
I get Batman nailed it. He's got that ability to potentially use that, whether it's bat stuff, sonar, all that kind of stuff. Some games where you're just clicking a button and you just all of a sudden can see everything for whatever reason. It doesn't really explain it within the story or whatever, how they can do it. I don't get it. A lot of games do it just as a gameplay mechanic to be able to, make the game essentially easier for you.
How do you feel about The Last of Us doing it?
Oh, I was just about to say that. You've mine. I don't know where they explain it gameplay wise. How? So they do call it listen mode, I believe.
Yes.
So I think it's supposed to be detailing what you can hear as opposed to what you can see. But translating what you can hear into a visual is kind of weird when you're playing a game, and that obviously you're supposed to understand what the character can hear, but you're seeing it. So there's a bit of a disconnect there.
It's kind of like sonar. And what's the animal that uses sonar for navigation? I'm blanking. Bully, can you think of it?
That's...
Unkie, come on, mate. That's your cue.
What Batman? It's my cue from Batman.
Whale, your whale noise, mate. Whales use sonar.
I was going with the bats, but you're right. Whales do use sonar.
There it is.
How many games are you playing as a whale, though, unfortunately? But no, definitely one of those cliches that is woven its way into a lot of games, especially open world games. You see it in a lot of them. There's not many stealth games out there. Hitman's got one as well, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Hitman, and they do no attempt to explain it. Hitman, it's such a used mechanic in Hitman. If you recall, Unkie, that was the original one that blew out my old man hands on the DualSense on the PlayStation 5. It was constantly pounding the bloody, detective mode on Hitman 3 on the PlayStation 5. It blew out the old fingers.
That's right. And I find the funny thing is, it's one of those ones where you're like, you feel like you're kind of cheating using it, yet if it's there, you find yourself using it all the time.
It's
so I know
essential.
A lot of games, Last of Us, you can play it on harder and not use the ability, but then you kind of miss it when it's not there. I don't know. It's a strange one. I don't know how I feel on it, really. For
me, I couldn't play Hitman without it. It is essential for my enjoyment in Hitman that it's there. If they pulled it out, it'd be game over.
It's probably, I mean, as I said, obviously games put it in there for a reason. It's a gameplay mechanic that does make the game essentially more fun to play.
Yes.
But it's one of those weird things. Some games do it right. Some games just chuck it in there for the sake of having it.
They do. All right, number 3. Gee, that looks like a very red barrel, Unkie.
The red barrel. To be honest, I can't see anything beating the red barrel, but we'll see how we go. But the red barrel has been around for as long as I can remember. It continues to be in games. Just when you think, games have developed and, moving along and creating bigger things, we still see games come out with the red barrel. And they don't even change the color of the barrel, just for shits and giggles. We get red barrels no matter what.
Hold on, mate. I've been playing a bit of Rage 2, and I've got to tell you, they're pink barrels in that game.
Oh, yeah, pink's just a different shade of red, Troy.
Some might say a softer, worse shade of red.
Some might, but the red barrel lives on. It is in bloody everything. Even if it's not a barrel, it's coloured red. It explodes. It's in pretty much every game. I don't feel the need to have it in every game. I'd see why we do it, because it explodes things and it makes things fun. But I just love, even going back, and we were speaking about it last week, playing Battlefield. They set up these whole turrets and everything, and gun in bases and stuff, and they're red barrels everywhere just for me to shoot and destroy the whole thing. Why would these characters be standing or enemies be standing anywhere near flammable liquid, let alone near a whole bunch of ammunition? It's hilarious. It's in every game. It's one of the biggest cliches going around. I don't know when we're going to move away from it. I don't know if we ever will, because it's such a fun gameplay mechanic to shoot a red barrel and watch it explode.
Now, let me ask you fellas this. As police officers, if you were ever on a scene and there was a red barrel, would you naturally just avoid standing anywhere near it in fear of somebody shooting it?
Well, my issue is always when you're playing the games, I'll go through, run and gun, shoot everyone down, and then the last thing I'll see as I'm exiting the room is the red barrel that would have taken them all out with one shot.
So, yeah, lesson to self, red barrels, friend, not foe.
Just don't stand too close. All right, number 4 this evening, Unkie, what am I looking at here? It looks like God of War.
Well, I don't know what picture I selected, but we've got the one-man army. So a lot of games you'll find where you are playing as the character in the game. Say a Call of Duty game where you are literally just this only character that you can go through a whole war in World War II, play as this one character and just destroy thousands of enemies. Nathan Drake's another one where you can take on millions and millions of enemies. You're killing absolutely everyone. You are the one person that is just destroying everything. You don't need help. It's just you against the world. That's, Duke Nukem. You've got Serious Sam. Tell us about Serious Sam. He's the iconic one-man army.
Oh, yeah, I was just playing through Serious Sam before. That's one of the more ridiculous ones I've ever seen. But you're right. It's pretty much every game known to man. We were talking about Ninja Gaiden before, and those series of games, it's one ninja against an army of thousands, and you manage to somehow take them all out.
Yeah,
fellas,
maybe he's more than one ninja, but
you're forgetting the world's greatest detective, the Dark Knight himself.
Batman, one-man army, exactly right. Like, he's got any bad guys against him. He doesn't kill anyone, but he still destroys everyone. He's the one-man army. There's, as you say, pretty much video games, like to a T, you are the one-man army. You take out that many enemies in that many games that you play, where in any real-life scenario, guaranteed, you're pretty much going to die.
Every lead character of a Grand Theft Auto game.
Yep, that too. Yep, there you go. One-man army.
All right, next up. Oh, that looks like a med kit to me.
Oh, speaking of one-man armies, these things help our one-man armies stay alive throughout their adventures. Health kits that you can just pick up that magically heal you, which just like real life. But unfortunately, that's how we see most, regenerative health stuff work in video games. You pick up one of these things and your health just magically appears. Guarantee if I run into one of these things in a police station after I've been shot, I ain't healing myself anytime soon. And it also brings the food, like eating food. Yeah, it'll quench my hunger, but it's not going to heal me from being, smacked over the head with a baseball bat, is it?
What are you talking about? You've never had your arm chopped off and used your other one to eat a piece of chicken wing and miraculously grown it back?
And not only grown it back fully, but then being able to be the one-man army again and destroy enemies. And why aren't they eating food and using health packs? I'm the only one that seems to get them. Surely they can use them too, but they don't.
It's a lack of training by the henchman's boss, I think.
Oh, God, just get more health kits and, tacos, people. Come on.
Well, that can only bring us to the next best mechanic, sleeping for health.
Yep. That's right up there with health kits. But, take a beating, get shot, get stabbed, take a sleep, Troy, take a little nappy nap, couple of hours, she'll be right.
Six hours in Grand Theft Auto, you're back to full health. Let's go.
Back to full health, mate. No worries about it. Just take a nap. God, I wish that was true.
She'll be right, mate.
All kinds of things. Like, I feel terrible if I get 2 hours sleep. These guys, if work the whole. I want to say work the whole day. Speaking of Grand Theft Auto, you're out there doing deals, getting shot at, whatever. You have 2 hours sleep. Not only are you missing your 8 hours sleep, but you're waking up refreshed and fully healed. I don't get it.
It's beautiful.
Well,
it's a thing of beauty.
I found out the secret. I've never had 6 hours of uninterrupted sleep, and therefore I've never been able to really heal myself.
Hey, there it is.
might be time for a vacation, Bully, I'd suggest.
I mean, I know it's not in this list as well, but we've also got, sleeping to, fast forward time very, very quickly as well. I mean, you may see that as a real life thing because when you fall asleep, it does feel like, no time's passed at all. So that could be realistic. Game mechanic meeting real life scenario. I don't know.
What about the old hot coffee mod for, what was that? CJ's. Was it CJ's? San Andreas?
Was G.E.A's San Andreas, yeah, the old hot coffee.
That sort of bed rest can sometimes help. All right, what have we got next? The old weapon wheel, Steve.
The old weapon wheel. Forget about, actually being able to carry weapons on you realistically, because you've got a weapon wheel that can carry up to 10 weapons on your trolley, including bazookas, hand grenades, handguns, machine guns, submachine guns, baseball bats, knuckle dusters. I'm mainly speaking about Grand Theft Auto here, but you get the point. You get the point. There's no need for realism when you've got a weapon wheel, Troy.
It's true. I love the way Far Cry do it, where it just starts as a weapon wheel, but it's like only one slice of the pie, and then you got to, buy the skill up, and then you get the second one, then the third one, and in the end, you become ridiculously over-weaponed. But what I can't think of any, but can either of you blokes think of a game in which it was a third-person mode and they visually display all the weapons that are on the weapon wheel on the character? Is that a thing anyone can think of?
I reckon Just Cause they do.
Just
maybe.
I was going to go more with a Mad Max. Not Mad Max. Max Payne 3. I know he carries weapons around. If you pull out your pistol, he carries the shotgun in the other hand.
Yeah, but that's right. They've limited that to just a couple of weapons. I'm talking about, your 8 weapons on the wheel and a character with, 8 machine guns or something hanging off them.
Hey, I've got the answer for you.
Oh,
it's like you're sitting on in the middle of the 18th fairway at Augusta for the Masters, and you've got the caddy behind you. You bring your weapon wheel up and say, "Give me the 3 wood," and he hands it over the shoulder to you.
The golf games.
I think
he hands over the rocket launcher over the shoulder to you, and away you go.
I think you've just uncovered what's going to be revealed in God of War Ragnarok. The little, what's his name? Loki, I hope. The wide shots. Loki's just going to be carrying around all sorts of swords and just flicking them to his dad.
Pass them to, yeah. I mean, I don't know how you get away from weapon wheels and all that kind of stuff in games in terms of the fun factor and being able to carry all these weapons and stuff. But, it is quite funny and can sort of pull you out of the realism of a game where you can carry up to 10 weapons just on this weapon wheel. They just magically appear whenever you want them.
Now, I put this challenge to both of you knowing there's no way you could ever achieve it. But the challenge is this. When you're next at work, try and get 8 shotguns or something and see if you can just carry 8 weapons at once. See if it's possible.
Oh, mate, I carry 3 guns with me every time I work. I've got my firearm, then I've got the two Des and Troy on my shoulders. So
I love it.
I thought they were called Tom and Jerry.
I thought you
effective as.
I thought you took 3 weapons to every time you went out to dinner, Steve.
Oh, I do that too.
All right, the final one for the standoff, the last potential winner of this evening's standoff is what is it, Unkie?
We've got over encumbrance. So just like G.E.A. and such games, let us carry a shite load of weapons. There's a lot of these games here where you could, if you could see your character carrying the amount of shit they have on them, it would be ridiculous. But that's why I've got over encumbrance, Troy, to stop us carrying that one last item.
The final petal.
Why even have it? You can carry that many things in these games and have over encumbrance. What is the point of even having over encumbrance as a mechanic in a video game? I point to you, Skyrim, Fallout, all those Bethesda games. Just let me carry whatever the hell I want because you're letting me carry way too much for one person anyway.
Hey, mate, you can shout like a dragon, but no way you can carry more than 300 pounds.
Oh, hell no.
All right, guys, we've got to pick a winner out of this lot. I'm sensing Unkie wanted to go the old detective mode, was it, mate?
No, I'm thinking Red Barrels is my biggest cliche.
Red Barrels for you. What about you, Billy? Where are you landing on this evening's standoff?
Oh, I've got to go with the food heals all that ails you.
Oh, the food heals. The food heals. Oh, one off. No, where is it? Gosh, I can't even find it. Well, it's there somewhere, I was leaning towards over-encumbrance because it is certainly in a lot of games. However, I don't enjoy over-encumbrance. So I'm going to put my pesos with Unkie on the red barrels. I love standing a good red barrel. I love shooting a good red barrel. I love winning via red barrel. Red barrel, I think you're today's winner.
Oh, let's give it a red barrel. I do believe, yeah, we see it in a lot of games. It is a massive cliche. I think there's even people that don't play games that would understand what a red barrel would do in a video game.
I agree.
So I think it's mass appeal and people's knowledge of the red barrel. I think we may have to give it the win unless Bully can make a compelling argument for food and such and the health kits healing us in video games.
Well, I just love the nonsense of the food heal, as we discussed before. But having said that, I also love the absolute mayhem that comes with a random red barrel.
Oh, yes.
So I might
remember,
sway me
red
over.
barrels. # friend, not foe.
Red barrels, a winner is you for this evening's Standoff. Unkie, help me out. Where are we off to now, mate?
We're off to audience interrogation.
Oh, what have you got for us? What have they been saying in that there chat, my friend?
I did see Sean Games there earlier. He says God of War POG. I don't know whether he means Game of the Year. I don't know what POG means, but he also agrees with me that God of the Year will sell more than Elden Ring. I'm assuming he means on PS5 because I don't know if it'll sell more numbers-wise in install base, given the fact that it was Elden Ring released across multiple platforms. But yeah, it will definitely sell better than Elden Ring on PS5, I believe.
Very good, mate. I've got a ripper in from Discord this week. Now, boys, are you ready? Are you listening? Have your listening ears on? Here we go. Would you go to the cinemas to watch a film about Bane versus Venom where both characters are played by Tom Hardy?
Oh, Jesus. Would I go see it? Who's directing the movie?
No idea. The contributor did not offer up a director's choice. Simply
More
what the...
importantly, is Nathan Drake dropping in?
Oh!
If Nathan Drake drops in, you know I'm saying it. But Bane versus Venom... Yes, the darkness
A fire rises!
I don't know whether that sounds like my whale or not. It's either that or Tom Hardy. I don't know. No, I'd probably. You know what? Why not? I'd go see it. Screw it.
I'd go see it. I'd be all about it. Because, you know, of course, Bane, the fire rises, and then Venom, scared of flame. So it's beautiful.
Hey, it
does. It does indeed. Fellas, it has been a massive show, but that draws it to a close. So thank you both for being here tonight. You've done a wonderful job, fellas.
Hey, no worries. I love me a Tuesday on a Monday.
Oh, Tuesday, Monday. Unkie, mate, thank you very much, and I'll see you Wednesday morning. Bully, sir, thank you for participating this evening, and I'll see you Wednesday morning as well, hopefully for some Black for Blood action.
Thank you very much, boys.
Thank you, fellas. I'm off duty.
Oh, that was luck.
Hey, that's not it. I love everything about it. Ooh. Old Uncle Donkey. Donkey.